Hey, welcome to another edition of Ego on Break. I'm your host, Jay Andrews. I'm joined by none other than the Mississippi Madman, who's not quite blind today and got a fresh haircut. So
feels better.
Yeah,
It's hot out in this mug.
I bet it does. The last one we did, we were talking about Brickhouse Brown, and you had asked me afterwards if I'd heard about what was said through Jerry Lawler or whatever. And
now JD had asked me, so I was asking you because I ain't heard nothing.
All right, well, I finally found it.
Okay. That's
outlaw
JD McKay.
Yeah, so this is going to be breaking news to the Madman here. Essentially, Dustin Starr, he does a show, and it's on Stitcher. I found it on Stitcher, and I can't remember the name of the show, but they talk wrestling, and I guess it was 2 weeks before the benefit for Brickhouse. They had Jerry Lawler and Randy Hales on promoting the fact that I think Boogie Woogie Man was going to be at the Lawler's barbecue signing autographs or something. And Dustin asked Randy, hey, have you heard about Brickhouse? Whatever, just kind of get your take on it. And Randy was like, Brick was always a nice guy. I hate he's got cancer, that kind of thing.
Who?
Randy Hales.
Oh, Randy. Oh, okay, my bad.
And so, he just kind of, your generic answer, hey, it happened, Brick was a good dude, that kind of thing. Well, as he was hanging up, Lawler was waiting to be on and we could hear what was saying. And Lawler came on and was like, man, Randy's, I normally say Randy's a pretty honest guy, but he told two big lies there. One, he said that he don't mind being interrupted by me. We know that's a lie. And the other is he said Brickhouse Brown was a good guy. He said, as far as I remember, Brick was never a good guy. He was an okay wrestler. And if he does have cancer, he's probably just trying to screw the people. He's like, he screwed me out of $1,500. And, then he went on these shoot interviews talking about, the fans of Memphis wrestling and the people of Memphis, how there was crap and garbage and all that. Now he's up here begging them for money. So he's like, if he's got cancer, I hate he's got cancer, but Brick's not a good guy.
So you shit on him.
Yeah, big time.
Gotcha.
So then the next week, they brought Reggie B. Fine on there. He was on there to promote the show. Yeah. And they were like, we just want to play this clip and kind of see what you want. And he kind of went off on Lawler, and he was like, Lawler says, he's a crap guy or whatever. He was like, while we were running and making Lawler money for $40 a night, Lawler's running around living in his mansion and, getting paid 90% of the territory. So he kind of got back on Lawler, like, Lawler's a crappy person to even say something like that. This man's dying,
nobody ever talks about how Memphis paid.
Yeah,
not the good way.
But
anyway.
you knew that going in, so.
I think somebody got surprised because Steve Austin didn't know in his book. He's like, I was eating potatoes, out of a bag, raw, because I couldn't afford a meal. Like, I'd get a hamburger a week to be my fancy meal.
But I thought that was, I thought that, it actually caught me off guard when I heard it because I wasn't expecting Lawler to say anything like that. But that just goes to show you,
how you feel.
The reputation you build is the reputation you die with.
That's
so,
I know a lot of people I wouldn't ask, how do you feel about Brick?
Yeah.
Because I know what they're going to say.
Right. Whether they know he's dying or not,
He never burned me. I can straight say that.
I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't.
I will say that he paid me and I got rid of my money pretty quick a couple of times, but...
I mean, we were in some questionable situations. We went to some events that was supposed to have been promoted that he had sponsored and stuff like that.
Televised with no cameras.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I mean, it's just as far as like treating me, he always treated me fine. He didn't always give you the whole truth. So, but I mean, that's this business. There's a lot of shady guys in this business. So.
I say, dude, I rode with him to the show. The guy's sick, bro. Yeah. If he's 130 pounds, he's lucky.
Right.
I mean, he's sick. It's real, 100%.
Yeah, so he definitely wasn't taking anything.
Like, he was looking at me. He could not recognize me and seen me many, many times. And he's like, I recognize you kind of. He's like, but I'm seeing double.
Yeah. And in Brick's defense, I don't think he's the one that was like, hey, y'all put a bunch of benefits on for me. As far as I know, he didn't try. He had.
I know of, man.
So I think this was just guys wanting to give back, because they were friends with him or whatever.
That
was it. I don't think he went to Memphis begging for people to bring him money.
There was a locker room full of people, and if they all got treated like crap, why would they have been there to do something for him?
Yep. So I mean, if had it been closer, I wouldn't mind, at least trying to donate something or whatever. And if I knew they were doing a silent auction, I would have sent something, but I didn't know they were doing it.
The one thing they did was let they auction off a watch.
Okay.
So, and they may have did more. I really don't know. That's what I knew and kind of got my nose in.
But yeah, it just caught me off guard. Like, it just seemed a little out of character for the Jerry the King Lawler you see on TV nowadays. So I guess that's what caught me off surprise. Like, it just makes you realize, the person you see on TV is not the real person. That's the character they play. And if they want to be goody two-shoes, they can. And they may be the worst guy ever and be the nicest guy on TV, or they may be the baddest guy on TV and the nicest person in real life. So, it's one of those things, net never meet your hero or whatever,
So, the only one I've ever met that lived up to the hype was Foley. So, I can say that.
Yep. So, anything new going on in wrestling for you? Like anything you've seen, watched, done, smelt, whatever?
Watching Samoa Joe almost choke Lesnar out. That was pretty cool. He turned that sucker into, he looked like a raspberry.
Oh yeah,
bro. He turned him purple. Like he's coming out to the ring and Lesnar don't know it, and Joe comes up behind him and just clutches his ass.
That's probably
it was good. It was
that's probably some video editing that to color in later.
Bro, he was purple. He was damn near purple. Like he's running him into the Titantron over and over. They building this fight up good. I'll give them that. It's one of the best build-up fights they've done in a while.
I watched a match on New Japan, and I'm not as familiar with all the guys, but I think it's Naito. It's the guy who comes out in the suit and's got the mask he pulls off and he does the thing with his eye.
Oh, yeah.
All right, he wrestled Juice Robinson. Phenomenal match. And it's probably not going to get the credit, the rating, the rave reviews that, Omega and Okada got. But it should. It was that good of a match. They told a story that worked a body part. It was straight old school Southern style match. It was really good, so I enjoyed it. So if you can, if you got, I guess, New Japan Network or World or whatever it is, or
like Fight Network or something.
I think it's just New Japan World. I think that's what it's called. And go check that match out. It's really good. It may be on YouTube somewhere, but it's worth watching. If you want to get sucked into the emotion of wrestling and not just that was awesome. But you want to get oohs and ahs, that's the match.
It's honestly getting to where I hate chants.
Yeah.
I swear I hate them.
We did a training session last night, which would have been Thursday night with students. And that's what I tried to tell them. I was like, right now the popular thing is dive versus headlock. That's what everybody's saying. And the reason there's a difference because, you do these dives and there's no reaction to them. Like
everybody does it.
If I fall off the top rope onto the floor with you, But here's the thing: if I fall off the top rope onto you, you should not be, 30 seconds later, you shouldn't be beating me up in the ring, and that's why, the dive, we have killed the credibility of the dive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Splash, elbow, all that used to be a finish. Nobody got up.
And back in the day, just a slingshot over the ropes was a huge thing. Macho dropped the double axe handle, and about broke people's heads. It's because, the psychology of the move was there. Now we just do it to try to get ooh and ah.
Somebody that does a move, and I absolutely hate it because then they turn around and do 10 more minutes worth of match. Seth Rollins now will do a superplex off the top rope, stand up, hit him with a Falcon's arrow, and everybody kicks out of it. And I'm like, why?
Yep.
That's clearly a freaking finish.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you just took them two dreadful ass moves and now you jumping up and down and backflips and
a minute and a half later you're not. It doesn't even register that you got dropped on your head.
Man, and I'm just like,
everybody's guilty of it from time to time.
That's one of the worst, dude. And that's on TV.
Yeah. Well, it's think. Big move off top rope to floor with table, barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes, gasoline, weed eaters,
I never went through a table or anything and got back up 5 minutes. Like, hell, I admit that shit hurts.
Yep. And that's the thing, is just, it's one of the things where it's missing, And if you type in on YouTube, if you just type in ring psychology, somebody's put together like a 40 to 50 minute video of just multiple guys talking. It's a really good video. Makes you look at things differently. A lot of the stuff they say, some stuff I don't agree with, and it's just one of those things that changes with time, But 70-80% of the video is spot on. Like what they say makes sense,
I I'll check it out.
But it's really good. So, if you're bored and you got an hour to waste, that's something cool to watch.
I just listened to YouTube riding down the road.
Yeah. So, we had an event. Personally, you had an event, Fight Night 3.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I was sick.
Yep.
Sorry.
And we got to see some new faces. And we got to see a new champion. Ray Fury, the former Dark Fury, defeated Joey Abel and John Davis for not just the Pro Wrestling Ego Pride title, but for the Federated branded title either. And Federated, of course, is based out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
It's get a lot of play with like the WWE network with FIP and Evolve and those things. They've all recognized that the brand is there. They may not use it, but they recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was big ups for Ray Fury for doing that. And we got to see.
Now the key point there is he pinned John Davis.
He pinned John Davis, absolutely.
He didn't pin
Joey
Abel.
Yeah, he defeated John
Davis.
Davis.
Actually beat the champion.
Right.
I'm sorry. Some people will like, "Oh, he beat Joey." Well, no, you beat the champion. That does make a damn difference.
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference. We got to see a guy, Grimy Cantrell. It's the first time I've seen him. He came along the ride with another wrestler, and he worked Paul Wright. Unfortunately, Wright got the best of him and defeated him. But he did something in the match that really stood out to me, and it's something I try to teach students is it's not about the moves you do, but it's what you do between those moves that people remember. And there was something happened. I don't remember happening exactly, but he's got Wright on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He punches him, kicks him, whatever, and he sits down on the edge of the apron. He throws out the imaginary fishing pole, and he reels him in. So as Wright's stumbling back, he's just settling that his character is a country boy. So he just reels him in. And I was like, regardless had he reeled him in or not, Wright was probably going to stumble back because I think he got kicked in the face or whatever.
Kind of like Petey Williams when he set you up for the Canadian Destroyer. He start doing the rope pull.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It's just a little something in between. I mean, he kicked him in the face and, Wright stumbled out, and then stumbled back and he caught him in something. He could have done nothing and nobody would have never noticed. But because he done that one little thing, like it made the match for me.
Oh, I got some flashy lights. What the hell is that?
So,
cops we could
it's light workers or something. So, it's just one of those things that it stood out, and it's again, it's the small things. Rock could have done the people's elbow without taking off the elbow pad, without this.
But it was built up.
Yeah, exactly. It's the stuff he did between the moves that made Rock popular. The eyebrows, what got Rock over. I mean, the catchphrase, the promos. I mean, he was good. What he done in the ring was good. It's just all that extra he put with the good made it great. And that's what I told my students. It could be wrong. I said, what's the difference between Stunning Steve and Stone Cold? Stunning Steve was the workhorse, hair and a robe. But he was the guy that he did all the moves,
Stone Cold.
But until he got attitude, until he got emotion, until he built that character and the things that went between those moves, he was just that guy that you put in a match to have a good match.
Well, that and Vince let him start talking and cussing.
Yeah, well, that helped, and drinking beer and all that. But it's all that little bitty stuff, man. That's what that adds to a character more than the move you do.
I'm just saying. I mean, he didn't do a lot of promoing before.
No,
I mean he did some, but not a lot.
But he did way less moves than Stone Cold. Hogan done way less moves, than what he probably knew.
He couldn't at that point. His knees were gone to hell.
I'm just saying, Andre. Andre done less moves. He didn't have to do a bunch of moves. I mean, he took something like stepping on you.
Because people don't think about this with Austin, but when he got hurt, he screwed his neck up. Correct?
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
When you do the stunner, what do? You land on your butt.
Yeah, but scars your neck.
So you're steadily hurting yourself over and over and over, and that's in the end what killed his career.
Yeah, he should have used the cloth.
Hell, Theo's press was a pen, something. But I'm just saying, I mean, he was
Instead of
literally
punching, hold
messing himself
shoulders
up
down,
over and over every time
Yeah.
he did the stunner, and a lot of people don't think about that, but it really would.
I mean, even if he would have modified it to the crusher, it would have probably saved his
Anything
back,
that jars
neck.
your bone
Yeah.
straight up and down, and you just had major neck operation.
Yep.
Not a very good spot.
So, anything else? Anything coming up? Any life in headlocks?
Oh, I'll talk about some since you're having so much hell with it, because it's kind of funny at the same time. But you're trying to run a women's show.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about what we want price-wise and all this. Let's kind of go into a little bit, let people understand what you're going through.
I'm not going to use any specific numbers
or
anything.
Got to, but just...
And this is not a knock on any person getting.
I know, but this is me trying to help you, and I still can't find nobody.
But if you're charging a month's rent, you know what I mean, for one match.
I agree, bro.
Now, if you have a huge name, I mean, if I'm hitting up Mickey James or
Awesome Kong,
anybody like that who's built a reputation, had a name, and they ask for,
ODB wanted $500 last time I talked to her, anyway.
Okay. And that's your business, put that out there. But but she has a name. She has TV experience. She's not somebody that nobody's heard of, and I'm not nobody's heard of me either. But at the same time, if you wanted to book me, I try to charge something that's realistic. It's not rent for the month. I mean, and here in Mississippi, you could have a hell of a house for the amount some of these girls want. And if you get it, that's not more power to you. Yeah. If you get it, go for it, But, you can overprice yourself out of bookings, and that's men, women, children, whatever, If you're not going to, let's say if you want $10, well, if you're not going to put $20 worth of butts in the seat, why would a promoter book you? And if you want $1,000, then there better be 500 people chanting your name and having signs. And it's just basic math.
I know, it was
and you can blame the promoter. You can say, well, if you did your job, every town, every community, every event has a set number. WWE can come down here with the WrestleMania, they're not going to fill our Coliseum. So what makes you think that we're going to do that on an independent level? A 2, 3, 4, 500 people house is a huge house in Southern Independence. Now, there's people drawing 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 people. They've got it worked out. They know what they're doing. They're mastered the craft.
They have backers too.
They have the budget to do it.
Exactly.
And I know there's people going to say, well, if you don't have the budget, then get the fuck out. Absolutely. I'm that same guy. I won't run a show if I don't have the money to do it. But even if I've got X number of dollars set aside, if 50% of my budget set aside for advertising, I think I'm doing okay. I'm reaching what I can reach, and I'm drawing what I can draw.
I agree.
And we do okay. We run our events based on being profitable. But I mean, if you look at a promotion, there's 200 people there, and they're charging $10 tickets. That's $2,000. Well, if you want $2,000, guess what? That promoter's not bringing you in.
I couldn't afford it, bro. That's crazy.
I mean that's and I know a lot of companies could do it because they were getting a lot of views off YouTube, and YouTube was sending them the money.
Yeah, now they're having the adpocalypse.
Right. So now if you were getting rent off of one booking before from a promoter, and that promoter was making that money off of YouTube, guess what? You lost your booking.
Yeah, because only wrestling, I don't even think they're considered it, but like even WWE isn't considered family friendly on YouTube right now.
WWE is partners with YouTube.
Oh, well, so they're the only ones.
So yeah, the rules that apply to independent wrestling do not apply to WWE because they are partners with them.
Well, I'm just telling you, I mean, nobody's making money right now.
So I mean, that's the thing. It's just one of those things, man. Like. And I try to tell my students this. I'm like, know the promotion that's, now if I message you and you don't want to come here and you give me a huge number, that's your way of saying, no, I got it. That's fine. But, if I reach out to a wrestler and they give me a number, I can try to negotiate, try to work out. But essentially, I've got to agree to their terms. Yeah. If you reach out to me, hey, I really want to work for your promotion, and you send me an astronaut, some god awful number, well, then you really didn't want to work, But I mean, I have no complaints on anybody that wants to get paid. That's not the problem. It's
no, I was just saying, you're saying a lot of women in the Mississippi area, bro.
Right. It's just trying to do something different. I'm trying to open doors for a different area. Like, there's women that wrestle in Mississippi, but that doesn't mean they're great. You know what I mean? And just because you live somewhere else don't make you great. You know, I mean, if you're in California, and you could be just as horrible as somebody here. And there's girls that are here that are decent. You know, the thing is, they get stuck in that rut just like the guys do, where I'm already wrestling, I want to get better. You know. So that's my rant. See, we're at 20 minutes, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Let's wrap it up on a good note. We hadn't told a road story in a while. Do you have a road story?
You go first, and I'll think of one.
Man, I'm asking the questions. If I all right,
it was your idea. That means you had one in mind.
No, I don't.
So,
let's see, a good road story. Man, I don't have any. So when I first started wrestling, we had went up into the Delta of Mississippi, and I don't remember what town it was, and I don't even know if the story is true, but there was a guy that
this may be a lie.
Yeah,
viewers and
but you know, most stories are, you know, most good stories are fictional. So this one wrestler in Mississippi has a reputation for telling a bunch of crap, so I won't tell any names. But he said him and a couple other guys were outside the building or whatever, and the guy was like, hey, you know, he had his envelope, I got paid this much, whatever. And the guy was walking up. When he seen the envelope, he grabbed the envelope and ran. Just took off. And the guy's just standing there. Well, this other wrestler was telling the story, said he took off after him.
Right.
And finally ended up catching the guy and, you know, slapped him around, whatever, got the envelope back. I don't know how true it was, but it was an interesting story that, you know, you try to rip off an independent wrestler, you know, so from Mississippi, no less. So, you know, I can guarantee that the envelope was awful slim, and if you would have opened it, you'd probably been like, man, I'm disappointed, you know. But the guy said, you know, he took off running and chased the guy down and got it. So,
wow,
that's my road story.
Okay, I'll give you my second horse story since I put the first one out there. I never put the second one out there.
All right.
Well, the second one involves my mom. My mom had only been to like one wrestling show before, and she had never been to an independent show. But my mom loves horses. So we're riding down the back roads to Puckett.
Yeah.
And there's like a horse farm or something on the way. You know where I'm talking about. And I'm looking out there, and I said, well, that's a weird way for a horse to be laying down. And my mom goes, go back. I said, what? She goes, there was a horse laying down. I thought he was laying down. Shad's legs were sticking straight out. I was like, damn it, I don't want to go back here. And I drove by for 3 more minutes. Shade, go back. All right, damn it. So I turn around, go back, and this horse is dead as a doorknob, stiff as a board, kicked out like this, both legs.
Oh, man.
And my mom's like, go see if you can do it. I said, he's dead. What the hell can I do? Give him mouth to mouth? What the hell?
Mouth to mouth.
She goes, well, go find the farmer or whoever owns the place. So I'm going around this big old barn, and this guy comes around the corner, and he's on a tractor with a bulldozer thing in the front.
Yeah, a bucket.
Yeah, a bucket. Thank you. I was like, bro, one of your horses is dead. And my mom's about to flip up. Yeah, that's why I got this damn thing. I'm going to go pick him up and call the glue factory. I'm like, oh, my God.
Hey, get paid somehow, right?
I come back around to the car. My mom said, what's he going to do? I said, well, he's dead. Ain't much else he can do. So he was picking up the horse and going to call the glue factory. Oh, my God, that's horrible. Like, Mom, he's dead. What is he going to do to him? Stuff him and charge the kiddies to ride him? What the hell?
Well, I don't know if that was a good story to end on, but got him laughing and got me smiling. So, poor horse.
We went to watch wrestling, and I got to wrestle.
Rest in peace, Mr. Ed, Ed the horse. So, hey, for Ego on Break.
Horse, not Ed horse.
I'm Jay Andrews. This is Logan Creed, and we'll catch y'all next episode.